Welcome back to Black Star Dove. Welcome back to the channel. Um, as always, it's HBO, which is helping brother out, trying to get to 1,000 subscribers. Again, it's trying to make this channel become another stream of income to provide for my family. I hope this video sounds good. I installed sound panels, so hopefully that can help with the noises and stuff and the echo. But other than that, the discussion of this video will be what I believe that we have to stop doing as Black people in order to get better results. Especially, this is like speaking of ending the male versus woman gender war. So these are just some thoughts. So this is just only part one. Of course, there could be several parts. But these are just a few quick things I jotted down. Because let me tell you where I got the idea from this video. Something I like to do while I'm at my work, my regular job, is to watch my worst date ever story. So people talk about their worst dates ever. And then I started to notice something. A lot of these worst dates have a lot of things in common between each one. So that got me thinking about other things that we can stop doing to like minimize this. So this will be just a little bit of a list of how what both Black men and Black women can do in order to have a more successful dating life that I feel. Number one, the first thing is, if you don't like the person, don't go on a date with them. I mean, it's kind of simple and easy in explaining. There's so many of these stories I heard, like, I only went on a date because I was bored, or I went on a date because he asked, and I didn't really like him. I'm like, so you set yourself up from failure in the beginning, and then you're surprised about the results that you receive. You know, let's just really kind of think about that. You know, if you don't really take an interest in that person, most definitely we should not be trying to, you know, pursue anything further, because then that can be leading on and things of that nature. And you don't want that, because you don't want nobody to do that to you. That's for both man and woman. This also ties into the next point. Dating, going to date someone because you're hungry. I can't tell you the amount of videos I've seen when I on these worst date evers of them saying, I only went out to get free food. Like, so you experience the worst time of your life in the form of a date in order to get free food. So technically you got what you wanted out of the deal. You got free food. In a whole lot of these cases, they didn't even get free food. They actually ended up paying for it. But you got the food. So it's like, that's all you really wanted. So was it really all that bad when you look at the grand scheme of things? So that's just another thing. But the next point, we have to get back to respecting our elders. Like, some of these people, the way that they talk to our elders and our people who have more wisdom than us, it's like very, very disrespectful. It's like they try to write everything off. You know, one of the biggest things is to say, okay, boomer, or something like that. We should be showing them the proper respect, because they've also been through a lot, and they can also teach us a lot. There's a reason why history keeps repeating itself, because we don't properly learn from the past. If we take the time to learn and to like really get a grasp of what we're dealing with, then we as people will stop the merry-go-round. But it always seems to keep going in circles, because we all keep thinking that we're special, we're different, and things of that nature, and then we find out that we're not that much different than the last generation. So, but once we find that out, it's a little bit too late. So then we try to warn the next generation. But that generation don't want to listen to us because we're old, we're out of touch, we don't know what we're talking about. So the cycle keeps repeating itself. Let's stop that. Let's get back to listening to our elders. Let's get back to having our elders be our community leaders. So I just know that I, as a black man, am vowing to make sure that I start really listening to my elders more and really start, taking the things they say and listening, because I am noticing that there's a repeat pattern for a lot of things. Let's see here, what's next? Stop going off potential. This is for both men and women. Now, what I mean by this is that, okay, there's two different ways to look at this. I called it Build-A-Bear. Like, for what normally happens is that for a woman, she would take a man up and build him up financially. And then for the man, he would take that woman that's broken down and build her up spiritually. And then we notice that these things don't really tend to last long once they're both on their feet. For that man, once he's back on his feet and financially stable, he would tend to go find someone else. Someone that he can go take care of, because he doesn't feel like he could have took care of her. Once that woman is fully healed, she would tend to go find love somewhere else, because she feels like now that she can go get that prize that she wanted. We have to stop going off potential. My thing is this: if you're not engaged to that person or married to that person, there's no need for you to stick around when times get hard. Now, it would be nice if you did, and well, also if kids are involved. Like, marriage is like so far off the table for a lot of people. So if kids are involved, you want to make sure that you're sticking around, because you want that person's father or mother to do better, and that would like have a domino effect on the kids. But if there are no kids involved, there's nothing high risk at stake. There's no marriage or engagement. If that person's struggling, you might have to let them go. Can't go off potential no more, because you're stifling yourself to try to build someone up. And history has shown that usually does not pan out great for the person that's doing the building. Next thing. We have to stop shaming one another. Sorry about that long pause. There's a reason why I'm wearing this. It's not a bonnet. This is a sue-rag, which is kind of like a do-rag. It's like the male version of a bonnet. People know that. But someone brought up something that was very interesting. So I was watching Real Topics with Yanni, who was a female YouTuber, and she brought up the fact that remember when Derek Jackson's wife got on YouTube and everybody kept making fun of her because of her bonnet, and they were like dragging that woman through the mud? Now that's happening to mostly all black women. They're being laughed at and dragged down through the mud for wearing the bonnet. And she was like, keep that same energy. It was like hee ha ha when she was going through it and you didn't care. But now that as a collective, black women are going through it, now it's like hee ha ha at them. So like I said, stop that shaming, because you never really know when your turn can be up. Now this example was geared more towards women, but that's for men too. Like, we gotta stop shaming. We gotta stop, at any point in time that could be us in that situation. So, try to at least approach it with a little bit of compassion. Things that we can, so I'm gonna end with this. Now, this is mostly for the men, but there have been women to do this as well. Stop expecting sex because you paid for something. Like this is more geared towards the men. But like I said, it can count towards both. But just because you bought her a meal, or just because you might have bought her flowers or bought something from her, that does not mean that you get to have sex with that person. Let's keep it respectful. Let's not try to rape anybody. I have not met any nookie, I'm just gonna say nookie for YouTube purposes, that's been worth like 30 years in prison. Like, I have yet to meet it. So, you know, if you met this, I want to actually meet it myself. But nothing's worth that. Nothing's worth your freedom. Let it go. Like, don't expect things just because you pay for it. Now, if it was an exchange of goods and services, you know, there's girls that you can pay and then they'll have sex with you. Those are called prostitutes. It's an exchange of goods and services. But once you're going after dating and then trying to love someone and trying to know them, don't just go thinking that you can have sex with them because you bought them something. So I'm gonna end that here. This is just part one. This is just some of my thoughts after really seeing these things. And I think, like, if we can stop this, we can most definitely get the ball rolling. The next video, again, will be on Friday. But other than that, take care. I love you. Peace.